Welcome to AmeLiaRun channel. My name's AmeLia. Today I'll be reviewing the New Balance Fuel Cell SuperComp Trainer V3. This is a shoe I purchased for myself in my size 8.5M from an outlet store. Like all of my reviews, this will be time-stamped for easier reference regardless of where and when buyers are shopping. I will be going over the fit, the nerdy details of this shoe, as well as trying to project the durability, discussing the ride, versatility, and value of the shoe as well. This is made with the hopes of assisting runners of all levels of experience with their shopping for their right fit for their shoes. If you have any questions, concerns whatsoever, you just let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to respond. Again, I really appreciate the comments we've been getting on our reviews. It definitely makes the conversation a lot more, how should I say, fluid, which is nice. Getting right on into the nerdy details. This shoe is a little bit older than what I have been reviewing as of late. This was released back in August of 2024. It is a 9.8 ounce daily trainer that's kind of like engineered in the sense that it's meant to be like a training companion for New Balance's racing shoe, which is, it's always a mouthful to say these names out loud, so bear with me. I believe, if I'm saying it right, it's the New Balance Fuel Cell SuperComp Elite V5, I think was the one that this one was meant to accompany. I know there was a new one that just came out. The numbers get me a little confused sometimes, so I'll put my hand up and say that. But this is the trainer version, so you're having, I'll tell you, let's just get into the nerdy details here. So this is 9.8 ounces. It has a 41 millimeter heel stack, 35 millimeter forefoot stack for a 6 millimeter drop. It has the Fuel Cell PIBA blend foam. That's, you know, how the foam is compressed. If you've ever seen the New Balance Rebel series, I think right after, I don't think it was the 5th one, it was the 4th one onward, it was the same foam that they kind of had in this, but the biggest difference, of course, being it has this, what do they call, energy arc. It's kind of like a forked carbon plate that's across the whole thing. If you're not familiar with carbon plates, not all shoes that say they have carbon necessarily have full carbon plates. The idea of, you know, particularly like this forked carbon plate is as your feet get more tired or as you kind of go through your motion of that rocker, that carbon plate's going to kind of keep things moving and grooving the way that it is intended. Not everybody knows that, and they just buy it because they're like, oh, this has got carbon, that sounds cool. There's also some discussion as far as, you know, the weight of a carbon plate compared to maybe even a plastic plate or just foam. Kind of having that open area here, this exposed bit here, you can see that does help reduce weight significantly. You know, for a 41 millimeter stack shoe, it is pretty light too, you know, at 9.8 ounces. But I digress. It has, obviously, you know, we're showing that rubber outsole here, an engineered mesh upper, a pretty comfy tongue here too. Nothing super wild to write home about, but, you know, beats having something uncomfortable. And then let me see if I can get a good shot of it. I'm trying to think where it has it on here. Yep, right here. So if you squint, you might be able to see where it says Phantom Fit on there. Phantom Fit is just the, kind of like if you think of like Power Tape from Puma, maybe it's a little less aggressive than that in both marketing and like design choice. But the idea is that as your foot kind of mends around it, I guess, meshes around it, it kind of fits it a little bit more custom tailored, right? How effective is that? I don't know, but you know, it's definitely nice that it's there. You can get this around $124, $125. It's definitely heavily discounted right now. It's a little bit older shoe. There's a new, I believe it's going to be the Fuel Cell Rebel. They'll be coming out here any week now. Interesting looking shoe. I wonder if that's going to replace this, but time will tell. It's also available in wide sizes. I got mine in standard just because the outlet store I bought it from did not have it in wide sizes, and the deal was too good to pass up. So, just went ahead and went with this. But we'll get there in a bit here when we talk about fit. Speaking of which, let's dive on into fit. Honestly, the trainer here, or I guess I should just call it the SC trainer. The SC trainer is an interesting shoe. It is definitely, if you're real keen on like your toe box, for me at least, I'm 8.5 M. I had my toe like right about here, which is pretty close, a lot closer than a lot of shoes usually are for me. Like I actually felt the edge of my toe box at times when I was running in this. Maybe go half size up if you prefer having some more room in your shoe. People sometimes might wonder why I don't ever say, go size up, half size down. Honestly, all the shoes I've had have been true to size. This is the first one I've really felt like I really needed to note, though, about how the toe box seems to have not necessarily like smaller, but it's definitely snug. And then the other obvious thing, you see with my lacing, I had to kind of change up the lacing because it wasn't wide enough. You run into that a lot with carbon plated shoes or even like race shoes. There's very few that are available in wide sizes, specifically because, having all the carbon in there, trying to get all the engineering for that, I feel like if you make it wider, it kind of gets a little wonkier. I definitely, if I were to get another pair of these, which I'm flirting with the idea of, I would probably consider, going into wide for this, but it was manageable fixing up my lacing. The laces are also really thin, so it's almost like kind of like a race lace. I know a lot of people like thinner laces when they're racing. There were some times I had some trouble with getting, a real consistent lockdown with specifically my how I lace it. Sometimes it was a little too light, sometimes it was a little too harsh. But again, those are just little things when I think of fit on this discussion for sure. Projecting the durability, I actually ran 50 miles in these. For a little while when I was training for a marathon, I was using these kind of as my dedicated, like, not necessarily long run, but like my weekend run, where that might be a quality session, that might be a long run. I was trying to kind of get like the pipeline going between this and the Elite, which I also had picked up on an outlet. So looking at this shoe after 50 miles, I could say that surprisingly the wear is not where I thought it would be. And it's very minimal, the wear I'm seeing. Like, I thought with all this exposed here that you'd have like a super bad breakdown here in between, but really hasn't been the case. Even really in towards like the heel, this is like some thicker, like the rubber outsole there. It's actually pretty good. I'd say the general wear you see is like here in the foam, looks a little worn out, but it's not necessarily it doesn't look like it's breaking down. It's just a little bit more worn. Right there in kind of like the forked area, some of these spots here, I feel like every shoe I review, you're going to see that kind of wear on it, but definitely nowhere as far as like concern. Looking at the other shoe real quick, this one actually looks like it's in a little bit better shape. Honestly, if anything, the energy arc here, the carbon plate looks a little dirtier, but dirty doesn't really mean a whole lot. As far as projecting the durability, I think these can go 100, 150 miles for sure. Again, like I might one day, maybe if it's like last call, for a wide size, I might snag one. I definitely got along well with the shoe when I was training in it. Getting into ride versatility and value. The SC Trainer is a shoe that I think that if you know what you're getting into when you go for it for that ride, I think you'll get the most out of it. There were runs where I wasn't really thinking a whole lot and I was just kind of just out there running, and I kind of forgot at times that I have a carbon plate, and that's not bad. Like, the shoe itself makes you very well aware that it has one, but as I'm running, I'm not sitting there thinking like, well, I gotta, trust this carbon plate a little bit more. I go with the full rocker. Sometimes I have a tendency, even though I'm a midfoot striker, sometimes I might lean up a little bit more towards my forefoot, particularly if things have not been very great, in life circumstances. Whereas, some people just go into the heel, but this plate really wants you to snap into it. So like as you're running, if you don't think about the fact that you have a carbon plate and you're just hitting at one of those two spots that you usually hit, and you're not letting that motion go forward, which again, the shoe does a really good job of making that fluid, but if you're like really just not committed to good running form for whatever reason, like I said, life circumstances, maybe you just have poor running form, you're not going to get the most out of this shoe. And it's not the shoe's fault at all, really, because it doesn't take that much adjustment, really. It's once, like, when I'm running in this, I just remember, okay, yeah, I know this has carbon plate. Let me try to let it do its thing a little bit more. And even like just that quick kind of reminder to myself, it was moving a lot better because of that, and my legs felt a lot less tired as part of it. I don't know if I'd go like that slow in this shoe, because it definitely, with that plate, it wants you to kind of have some pep in your step, but it's not necessarily giving you more than you can chew, so to speak. It's not feeling too aggressive or unstable. It definitely feels pretty stable, a la like the Rebel series. Like, gotta love the Rebel series. You can go fast in those, and not feel like you're about to completely lose your feet under you. I did some strides in this too, as part of middle end of a quality session, and definitely add some pep to it. That carbon plate loves getting a little snappy when you're pushing the envelope a bit. Would I use it every time I went out for a stride session? Probably not. But it's not necessarily the shoe's fault. It was just a matter of preference. Thinking about the versatility, I would say, this is a very versatile shoe. I think this shoe can handle long runs. It's definitely a marathon training shoe. If you're looking for something that'll get you through training for a half marathon or a marathon, look into this. This is a great shoe. This is a great companion with that kind of like goal in mind. It can handle your strides. It can handle easy runs, long runs. Maybe it struggle a little bit more on easy runs. Maybe daily miles, we'll say. Easy runs, I don't know. I don't know if you should be running out in a carbon plate. That ethos in itself is a little challenging to kind of discuss. But I do think, though, that this is a very versatile shoe, and especially at $125 right now, it's a steal for that. And that's right into value. I think when this shoe came out, it was $180. I think the shoe would be generally worth $180 at full price, but you can get it for $120. You can get it even cheaper than that right now. So I definitely think that in terms of the discussion of value, go for it. It's a great shoe. Final thoughts for the SuperComp Trainer V3. As a funny aside here, as I was writing this up and getting ready for this review, I was so worried I was going to say that wrong this whole time because it's such a mouthful of a name. New Balance Fuel Cell SuperComp Trainer V3. Which kind of feels like you're just throwing out words. But joking aside, I love this shoe. This is a great shoe. I have a lot of regret that I wasn't able to get through a full marathon training cycle, not necessarily because anything physical health related, just circumstances being what they were. I didn't necessarily have the bandwidth to continue on with the training for it, but knock on wood, I've been healthy. The shoe is a big reason for that. This shoe feels stable in a good way, because when people hear stable, they're thinking of like overpronation. I'm thinking, when I say stable, I guess I mean more in the sense that it is comfortable. I don't feel like my feet are going to go under me, because I underpronate, I supinate, which is my lateral wall. So if people hear stability, they think of overpronate going inwards. No, that's not what I'm referring to when I say that. I guess again, it feels more steady. Maybe steady should be the word I should start adopting for this, but I digress. Check the shoe out on like Joe's New Balance outlet. I know like Running Warehouse had it on sale. Give it a whirl. I think you might be surprised how much you might like this shoe. With that said, I hope you're all staying healthy and safe. I'll talk to you all here in the next review.